It's Thursday night. The boys are back in. Now we Thursday on Sport NFL. T and Alec, good to see you, boys. Good to see you.
Evening. How are you?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Wow.
I'm enjoying my extra new layers of extra merchandise that may have arrived that I'm hanging up nicely. Not that I'm a sucker for new and other tops.
Gary, I didn't realize you were into 49ers merch. That's a new thing.
Yeah, really. Nobody noticed before. There you go.
That shelf as well looks like it's under residency employment at the back there.
That one over the back there, yeah. That will lead cunningly to the new show that we'll be advertising later on. But yeah.
Oh, how exciting!
Tease, a little bit of a tease.
Look at that, right early on. Get him, hook him in early.
Matty, I feel like we're going to be left behind with Gary. Like, he's getting predictions correct on the far. Do you know what I mean? He's getting his links in. I mean, do you reckon he's outgrown us?
I honestly, I don't know how he does it. You could honestly say I don't know how he finds this stuff so easy, or more importantly, how we make it look so hard.
It's hard, yeah.
Don't
is it? Which one is it? Which one is it? Is the question we'll leave up to our viewers of whether or not easy or you guys make it hard.
The Fred Warner of Sports Mag UK, Gary Thorpe. How does he do it?
I'll take it. I'll definitely take that. Right, where are we going today? Yeah, where did we jump straight in? Because I know, you've got some things that you want to get off your chest. I'm hearing.
We'll move on to that. We'll move on to that. We'll talk about the week 3 Whiplash results. Because it was a bit of an untidy week 3, wasn't it? I mean,
there was a. I mean, I'm taking it. These are the results up on your screen and made you look 2 or 3 times and what whiplash the neck round to kind of double check that you saw them correctly. I'm assuming, right?
100%.
There were a few though, weren't there?
Well, I think let's start with the early games. I mean, you called your game, Cowboys Ravens. You said that would be one hell of a matchup. It didn't look like it. Then it was. Then it wasn't.
For 3 quarters, I was like, I did, and it's turned. Get right, more Ravens of everybody thing, and then I don't want to say, well, Cowboys got back into it, the Cowboys into it, or Harbaugh just not coach for a quarter and in some of the rumblings. Sorry, a pup around you may hear minutes, just for the noise.
Yeah, I feel like this game was so weird. I feel like the Ravens just had it. Like I kind of had it on in the background, and it just thought like they've got this. And then the Ravens do seem to have a bit of a knack for this, for making things really, really hard for themselves right at the end. And I was kind of watching it, and I was like, "There's no way the Cowboys are actually going to do this, right? Like it's, oh my god, it's going to happen! Like they've attempted an onside kick, they've actually got it. Oh my god, it's going to happen!" And I mean, obviously it didn't. But I do feel like that scoreline kind of mildly flatters the Cowboys. But then I just think, like, surely if they'd have played like that the whole game, then like they wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place? Question mark.
100%. Did anyone look at the score at halftime and go, "Oh, how many interceptions is Dak thrown?" And I was like, none. How does that work?
Or 7 or half.
They just played bad football for the first half.
Yeah. And like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott were arguing on the sidelines, which feels like, lads, it's like week 3. Let's just calm down, okay? Like, I know this isn't good, but let's just calm down. Like, is that a bad sign already in Dallas?
Ooh, tease.
I mean, we did call Dallas like the edge of collapsing in on them. And Dak Prescott did make me hold out, and he wasn't holding camp, and he was training. You wouldn't have all this stuff, and obviously that's reared its ugly head again. That argument, but yeah, it was interesting, as you say, at half time. Dak must be out and was done. It was bad,
and they came back. I have to say they came back. Did the Ravens let them in, or were they the better team to come back?
I feel like it's kind of a mix of both. Like a lot of the stuff at the end, I feel like the Cowboys did put in like a good shift, and you could tell they really thought like, do you know what, this is still on, and this game isn't done. But also, like I said, I feel like the Ravens have kind of developed this habit of just not being able to close out games, and when they're a team that is as built, with their success hinging on like the run game and stuff, they feel like the perfect team to be able to close out games, and yet somehow they just really seem to make it hard for themselves in the end. I mean, like you said, they literally had this game sewn up by like half time. Like it was done. There was no need for it to be anywhere near as dramatic as it was. Like the Cowboys definitely
reminds me of another game that should have been done at halftime, but it wasn't.
Right,
at halftime.
listen.
We'll save it easy.
Levi's away did not happen this year. We've hacked it off. We're gonna have to talk about it.
Was it Cowboys? I remember reading about their usual gonna himself not just give the ball to Murray, because it was working. So they're different. So why? You're right. You've got the best running back in the league when he's on entering the Dallas Cowboys for 3 or 4 yards to carry. No, we won't bother giving it to him. We'll start and it's like coaching play. You're not that's during the week room.
I feel that the Cowboys just need to get into a rhythm, and they need to find their winning ways, and maybe they took it for granted early on.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Let's move on to some more positive news, though. The Vikings.
Do you know what? I'm not even just for the meme at this point. I'm actually kind of getting quite in on the Vikings. Like, not even just for the,
stay away, Matty. Stay away. I've seen what you've done to.
Got it. Up the Texans.
You know what? Eddie, there is like, how much? Not my Vikings.
I know. I just think, obviously, like everything they're doing with like the offensive side of the ball is impressive, but the thing that you keep hearing teams rave about is how good this defense is. Like that was the first thing Brock Purdy said was like, what the hell did you guys do? Like I had no idea what it was doing. And this Texans team, who were all lauding as like, whoa, outside shout for a Super Bowl appearance and stuff, they got held to a single touchdown with like, again, CJ Stroud, this guy who we're leveling as like, this guy is potential like generational quarterback. They've got weapons on this offense, and they've been held to a single touchdown. That is mental. 60 minutes, one scoring drive. That is crazy. Like even the worst teams in the NFL will probably end up scoring on at least 2 drives. Like to only score once is huge in terms of like defense for this Vikings team.
Yeah,
I have to say though,
Brian Flores, an early shout for Defensive Coach of the Year.
I wouldn't say it's all on the defense. I'd say Sam Darnold. I'm no longer pulling for him to be Comeback Player of the Year. Forget that award. He doesn't need that. There's only one award he's going for now.
He's going for the big one, is he?
Give him MVP. Give him the league's MVP. I tell you what.
Just to confirm, isn't he questionable for this week?
Yes, he was. I was hoping he was going to pull through. He'll pull through. We don't need to see Nick Mullins, but I think you could give him Comeback Player of the Year. I think you could give him Offensive Player of the Year. And I think you could give him MVP.
He's going to take the triple. He's going to clean sweep, is he? Sam Darnold. Clean sweep of the awards at the end of the year because he takes Minnesota for a start.
I always said he was the best kneeler of the ball that the 49ers have ever had, and the 49ers have not looked the same since he left.
Coincidence? I think not.
Thank you very much.
They're just not confident of sending their backup out kneel on it. Is that what it is? That's the problem.
Yeah, we're just stressed. We don't have a big Sam.
I feel like Gary's going to kick me out.
I'm getting on. I guess. Giants, Brown. whiplash result? I gotta say it is, because Giants were going to coast through this season with 0 wins, and then suddenly they turned the Browns over. What?
For every Panthers prediction that Gary has, there is also saying the Giants won't win a game all season, and then they go into it. So I suppose there's two sides of the coin. But Alec, I know you've got particular beef with this Browns Giants game this week.
I am done. I am done with the Browns. I was going to save this for later on, but I am.
No. We'll come back to it. Save this. We'll put a pin in this, because I think I want to just build the tension, because it looks like you're about to blow. So let's save it for later. So that one.
Don't worry, people. The Browns are in for it this week.
But this game, though, what I will say, Deshaun Watson had the ball 3 times to win this game. I mean, the scoreline looks ugly. 21-15.
Yeah, it's not a pleasing scoreline. That's not nice.
It looks ugly. Like, that game is ugly. Deshaun Watson threw for 196 yards. He's not even throwing for 200 yards in a game. Yeah, for the game. 196 yards for the game. 2 touchdowns.
Oh.
And I get it. The running back's out. I totally get it. But he should be enough to carry this team forward. Like, that defense is good enough. I'll get into it later.
We'll get into it later. Yeah. Speaking of somebody good enough to carry a team, is Bo Nix it at Denver?
Oh, what a transition! Yeah, I mean, beating the
guy's on fire.
He's looking
pulling
very
the links
good.
out. It's like, wow. Yeah, I mean, that was an impressive performance from the rookie. Maybe getting a bit more trust from the head coach to kind of go out and play a little bit. Seemed there were a few more sort of not off script plays, but plays that, lean in.
Do you think that more tape on Bo Nix might enable defenses to look a little bit more? Because this was the first time he really used his legs. I know I haven't watched any college football on Bo Nix. I know you have, Gary.
I was going to say there's a lot of college tape on Bo Nix, as he played college for a long time, so most people should know what he's about. And if they haven't, and they haven't gone out and done their homework, then they deserve to get run all over like the Buccaneers did, because that's just poor planning.
Do you think that's what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that complacency there, rookie quarterback, he's this bad start, and the Bucs have gone in there going, "Oh, you're coming into our house. We've got this." Sean Payton.
Yeah, I guess
3 weeks in.
Yeah, I think this win was probably needed for the Broncos. I think they knew that they were going to be on the receiving end of some spicy setups if they lost this game and went 0-3. So Bo Nix pulled it out, because I wasn't going to lie.
They were tuning in, were they?
They were, yeah. I'm pretty sure I literally said the exact words on like the Sunday show. I was like, "Do we have to start asking questions of Sean Payton?" And Sean's like, "Absolutely not. Not from that."
Not, Matty, I've got you back. I've got your back. I've got you back.
No way. But speaking of teams that apparently don't have any questions being asked about them, although they were one of the teams that we had the most questions about going into the season, the Steelers moved to 0-3. The Pittsburgh... Oh, no, they moved to 3-0. They do not move to 0-3. I thought they were going to be 0-3. They're 3-0. The Steelers, the Pittsburgh Stonkers, are somehow 3-0 and probably still have conceded more points than they've scored. But they've done it. I don't know how, but they've done it.
And they've done it with their backup QB.
That was a poor game to watch. I don't know if anyone watched this game. It was a very poor. I watched
Chargers and Steelers. It was a red zone at most kind of game, if anyone, unless you are from Pittsburgh. Even the Chargers got banged up. Your QB's banged up, I think, Matty. Isn't Herbert?
Yeah, the man with the luscious locks, not quite as good as Trevor Lawrence's, but the man with still not bad flowing hair. It does sound like he might be down, which is not ideal.
Well, he said my ankle feels better than it did last week. Yet he still played last week and he's questionable this week. So I'm questionable what his ankle felt like last week.
How bad was it last week? And why the hell was he in there? Because it sounded like he wasn't very mobile and couldn't really move around a lot. So why the hell did they put him in? How bad are the backups LA? Oh,
how much do they not want? Is it still Easton Stick? Is Easton Stick the backup guy? Is it still?
I think it is.
Heineke as well. You got in there as well.
Taylor Heineke, and yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay. Oh boy. Last game I'll bring up just to
Just to keep my flowers rolling a little bit. Bills 47, Jaguars 10.
Bom, bom, bom.
Come on now.
Choo, choo.
Now.
All aboard
Get
the
on
Bills.
board the Bills train.
I'm telling
mean,
you, Josh Allen's
Matty's
winning
the
MVP.
top conductor on this one because he
Sam
was
Darnold's
the one.
finishing second. Josh Allen is getting the MVP finish. They just continue to like keep surprising me. Like I feel like even Josh Allen said in an interview that he was like, "Yeah, this team's like just a bunch of dudes," and like it kind of is. But like, is that mentality maybe just going to take them all the way? Like Buffalo just seems like it's just absolute vibes right now.
The Josh Allen pressure thing.
Mhm.
That having Diggs there, and I've got to feed Diggs. I've got to feed Diggs, or else I'm going to get shouted at. Pressure thing works. Maybe it is. Maybe it is that, or maybe the Jags are frauds.
Maybe it is the release of maybe nobody thinks the Bills are contenders this time around, and therefore they're going out and just kind of going, but nobody thinks we're going to win this. Everyone's got us down to fall apart and whatever else. It's Josh and nobody, and therefore they're having a bit of a laugh. I don't know if you saw I saw a bit on social media where basically even the players were getting involved because they're at Buffalo. They've decided to start playing Mr. Brightside in the second half, and there was this clip image of the players on the field singing along and cheering and bouncing along with the crowd, and it's like maybe they're out there just having fun. Maybe they think that the Buffalo Super Bowl window's gone once they traded everybody away, so now they're just out there balling out, having a ball, and it's working for them. Also, on the other hand, the Jags look terrible. The Jags look really bad.
It did not look great, did it?
There's a team that's almost reverting back to their Urban Meyer year of absolutely just being hideous.
Oof.
In a division that was bad, that is now quite a good division.
Yeah.
Which is even more disappointing for a Jags fan.
Yeah. Division they should have, and as we said at the beginning of the season, they should have had multiple season wins out of that division for a long time. They should have had that all wrapped up, and now they're not. And I'm just going to call out the Commanders beating the Bengals on Monday night.
What a result!
What a result! What a get! No turnovers. No turnovers.
First time since like stats out of that metric have even begun. It's like 1940.
Like all the stats people were just going, there were no turnovers in this game. It's like this is like the best thing ever. It's like the Commanders beat the Bengals. Can we get round to that? And let's not get lost in the there was no turnovers thing. It was like, good lord, maybe
I did. Can I confess? I did wake up and like kind of look at it and was like, oh, Bengals 33. That's a good win. Nice to see them back at get a win, because I was just like, the process.
That's all you saw.
Like, the Commanders are not going to score more than 33 points.
Commanders scored more than 15 or something. His process was, but yeah, I mean,
that's my NFL insight.
Yeah, just hell. There were right that there were some proper whiplash results this week.
That just felt like a very like Madden-y game of football. Like you've just got two quite like evenly matched players. Neither of them can play defense, so they're just like
who can score more than you.
Yeah, it just I also couldn't really believe it. Like I feel like you just see that the Bengals have put up 30 points. You're like, yeah, they must have walked that, and then you see the Commanders almost dropped a 40 burger on them. And you're like, okay, well, I guess not.
I guess not.
Shall we move on to the elephant in the room?
We might have touched on it. Might have touched on it a couple of times, but let's delve in.
49ers Rams. What a result for the Rams! What a result for the Rams!
It was a great result for the resiliency of the Rams. Show that they don't give up. Still hung around considering their offensive woes and the injuries that are plaguing them. Yeah, to stick that out because they were dead and buried at halftime. They should have been dead and buried. They were being outplayed. They were being outcoached, and to turn that around, to just hang around as long as they did. And the longer they hung around, the more obvious it became what was going to happen. It almost became inevitable, that Shanahan was going to blow a double-digit lead in the fourth quarter. He can't close a game. All of those old sort of habits started to eke back in. Getting away from the run game. I don't think they gave Jordan Mason the ball in the fourth quarter for some reason.
The bit that fell apart in that one. So I was the idiot that watched it back. The bit that fell apart in that one is that I think it was at the end of the third quarter, we tried to run the ball in for a touchdown and we got rejected 3 times, and then we kicked a field goal. And I think after that, Carl just went, well, I'm not going to run the ball. And I feel that Carl's on that. You need to sometimes pull Mason out. He needs another running, but we need another running back.
Yep.
Garendo's not there yet. I don't.
He wouldn't be. I mean, he wouldn't be in 4 games into his rookie year, and there were a couple of chances he could have burst a big run if he just had the patience. But
if we need CMC news is right, we need another running back.
We need to go out in the market. It looks like that's going to be another 6 weeks. I'm hearing, or maybe a bit longer. So he's out for a bit longer. So they definitely need a proper 1-2 punch. And as you say, Mason is definitely the one punch, but the backup punch isn't there right now. Garendo.
The other bit I'll put on this game as well. So my view of this is it's one or two ways. This is the game that was the Eagles game versus the 49ers last season, where people are just like, we know how to beat you now, and that's what we're going to do. Or this is a game when we win the Super Bowl and go through the playoffs, we go, this was when they turned it around. That's when
this was the turnaround started. Yeah, it's that sort of knife edge. Yeah, it's going to go 2 ways here. I think you're right. There's a knife edge here of it could spiral after losing against the Vikings in a bad game. Heartbreaking, gutting loss, last kick of the game. They should have really closed the game out. Injuries and more there. Juwan Jennings had game of his life. I mean, when he mossed that cornerback off the top of his head, what a catch. Oh my God. But to still lose that game after that, it's like, where's the defense gone? What's going on at special teams? My God, what is happening? So it could really be one of those horrendous spirals now when you suddenly get all these niggling injury reports start to come out and the season starts to unravel, or this is where we all kind of went, right, come on now, this is not on. This is the moment we, all the locker room came together off. I'm already planning the NFL film year where this is where the locker room came together. It was at this moment they knew, the voiceover man is coming back.
Stop messing around.
Gary's already planning, for the next
NFL 30 and 30 is already in my head. It's already
Which one's it going to be when we eventually see like linebacker next year, and there's Fred Warner just sat and he's like, that was the game that really spoiled out this team. I mean, obviously disappointing result. I think it's one of those things that sometimes you just have to accept, like, especially in division, like these things do kind of happen. They throw those like wild card results at you. Because I remember I wasn't watching the game, but obviously I had the like score updates on my phone and stuff. And every time I kept checking it, I literally kept thinking, like, feels like we should be further ahead by now. Like, I don't like how close this is. And especially when it was getting towards like the third quarter and they were only maybe 7, maybe 10 points down. Like, okay, that's a lead, but I don't like how close this is. Like, it feels like this is the kind of banana skin game that will go wrong. And I remember I kind of stopped paying attention to it and thought, right, now I'm going to leave it. As we've aforementioned, whenever I get involved in NFL games, they never tend to particularly go well for the team I'm rooting for. So I thought, cool, I'll just leave it alone. Won't watch it anymore. And I checked the result full time, and I was just kind of seeing that, and I was like, there is no way. There is no way this has happened. Especially when Brock Purdy and Juwan Jennings have genuinely 2 of the best games I have ever seen. Like, they played so well, and for all of that to go to waste, like, I feel so bad, kind of specifically for like Juwan Jennings. Like, my man had a day, and then I just saw the tweet kind of come out, and it was like Juwan Jennings has like refused to speak to reporters after the match, and I was like, fair. But I do not. I don't really
totally fair that he's just gone there, don't talk to me. I
don't really know how on earth you would potentially have a game like that and then be like, so we lost, but let's answer some questions. Like, what could he possibly have to say at that point?
The last game I want to touch on as well is the Falcons versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs. Sorry.
Oh, hot dang!
Hot dang with the Freudian slip there.
Roger Goodell, come get your man. What's going on?
come get your red and white striped umpires.
God damn. I don't know where I lie on this because I like to think
it was pass interference, for crying out loud.
I agree, but I don't know where I lie on it in terms of what is it? Is it the fact that they're just good at being in the refs? And I've had teams being in the refs here, being there, being focused. Is that it? And the other teams are just playing up to it? Or is it that it's just blatantly like, the Chiefs need to win? We need to keep Mahomes happy. Because again, he's had a poor game.
Poor game.
Which he has admitted himself, by the way. He's since come out and said, like, we are 3-0, but I don't think I've played very well. I don't think the team as a whole has played very well. Like, he has very openly admitted, right? Which is, I guess, the scary thing. Like, if they're not firing on all cylinders and are 3-0, that's kind of
Look
scary.
out when they do get when they get all tuned up. But
I
yeah,
think
it's
I can't remember when he said it, but I remember Mike Florio did a whole thing about this because he was like, you need to understand like just how much or how many people would have to be in like cohorts for like the NFL to be a big conspiracy and stuff, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And like he is totally right. And at some point along the line, someone would mess it up and something would come loose. And like, of course, he is right. But also, there are so many things that just keep happening that you're like, yeah, but you know, like
it's staring you right in the face, and the pictures are right there. Where
like I know it's impossible, but like there's just
it's
too
not
much
helping the
there
narrative too much, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a poor game. It was pass interference, and you kind of look at it and like the last 2 minutes. Let's make pass interference a reviewable call by the Sky Cam, not reviewable by the teams, just reviewable by the Sky Cam.
Would you make it challengeable for the team?
Not challengeable, no, because I think it could get a bit. I think just
tasty.
Yeah, I think just make it a referee reviewable from the Sky Cam.
Yeah, because I think the New York office or the VAR guys, if you like, would have called that as PI from the booth or from the box or whatever. The review, I think they've got that team of refs that sit in New York and can review calls.
Yeah,
if it goes to them, they would have called that, and it would have been like, "Yo, come on now."
The frustrating thing is, after that happens, you then get the ESPN referee analyst come on and go, "Oh, yeah, it was pass interference. I could see why they missed it." And you're like, "Well, you watched it 15 seconds afterwards, so we can implement that law. Like, it's quite easy to do."
I mean, it's not like the game is non-stop and doesn't have plenty of opportunities for video, referrals and reviews and timeouts and more chance to sell advertising. Sure, there's not really going to be a big pushback.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it. We can squeeze in another couple of Geico adverts and an Allstate if you go in for a review within the 2 minutes. Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Throw it in there. Why not? It's insane that they haven't done it, especially. And yes, it's impossible for all of the refereeing teams, and there are teams of them all over the country. They're not all to make the Chiefs win. It just seems that way at the moment because there are some egregious balls, and they all seem to be going in their favour.
Yeah, 100%. And I believe it's because the Chiefs know how to play it.
I think so. It's one of those, as you say, they're in the ear of all the refs from the outset, or it's perception, or they are the Super Bowl champions, and do champions always get just a little bit, extra, leeway or whatever it is. I don't know what it is, but it definitely seems that they get some of those big calls their side more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
However, can I make a bold statement?
That's what this show's all about.
I think you're full of bold statements for today, aren't you? It's all bold statement Simpson today.
So, is this week's or this season's NFL? Let me start again. Is this season proving that Andy Reid is there for Patrick Mahomes, and without Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes would be a Daniel Jones?
Oh my God! That's
a big.
That is bold. I mean, I know there's that stat, isn't there, about how many of Pat's. Is it like intercepted passes have been called back because of like X, Y, and Z? Like there is a ridiculous amount, and then the gap to the next slowest
17
is like,
or something, isn't he?
Yeah, it's something mad.
Like 17 interceptions have been flagged in somehow, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then even this season, that's his 4th interception this season.
Yeah, see, I noticed this. Obviously, I don't. Again, we have full-time jobs. We can't watch all of these games in full. As much as I would love to just vegetate and watch all of these games in full, but I love a good highlights video. Absolutely love it. But it has definitely felt like whilst I've been watching them that the amount of times you just hear the commentary saying about how like the Chiefs have turned over the ball and there's been an interception, and I was thinking like this feels like it's happening a lot. Like, we're only 3 games into the season, and it just feels like that's a line that's coming out way more than it has done previously.
He's only 659 yards, 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, QBR of 48, which is 20th in the NFL.
20th of 32, and those bottom 12 are bad. You can probably list the bottom 6 or 7 already. Right? It's bad.
So,
and yet they're still chugging along.
And yet they're 3-0. Yeah. Life isn't fair.
I think we're done with Whiplash week 3.
I think
Whiplash.
so. I think
it was terrible to watch.
It was terrible. It was car crashes. We don't like it. Please, NFL, get back on script for week 4.
However, Sam Darnold, MVP. The vote starts now.
Sam Darnold versus Josh Allen. This season is just going to be me and Alec fighting over.
Oh, what a Super Bowl that could be. Vikings Bills.
Vikings.
Pair of you, just stop it.
In a dome as well. I mean, Vikings Bills in a dome. We could be looking at a 35-38 absolute thriller.
That could be like that time, that first game I played on.
I'm going to bookmark this conversation and bring this back on Super Bowl.
That could be a scoreline
like nowhere to be seen.
Like that Madden Super Bowl I played, where it finished like 96-94 or something. That'd be mental.
To the Carolina Panthers or something, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Too right. That would be the most Sports Mag UK Super Bowl possible, I think.
Come on, Matty. Let's hit it. I've been excited for this one. Let's
do it. Right, hang on, boys. I just need to... just bear with me a second. I've just got to fire the old machine up. Hang on. Right, so yeah, we've got I've got some mechanical help here with the crisis meter. So bear with me whilst I just get my AI assistant to help me sort this up. 1 second. Yeah, Dave, you there?
Right, team. It's time to dust off the old crisisometer, that trusty gadget that hasn't been calibrated since the Y2K scare. Let's fire it up and see if we're at a minor or full-blown grab a fire extinguisher and a therapist level. Fingers crossed it doesn't explode. Again?
What do you mean explode? Dave, please don't explode.
What do you mean?
Okay.
The fire extinguisher's back.
Well, the crisisometer is on, and Dave is ready to see if it'll explode again. Again.
Again.
I had far too much fun making that, I won't lie. So we're just going to look at some teams who are in some... I put bad situations, but I've put some interesting ones. I've tried not to just take all of the low-hanging fruit. But essentially just a good opportunity for me to have a jolly good moan about some teams, which is excellent. So we'll take a look and we'll rank them in the following 5 categories. So category 1 would just be like, this is fine. Like, it's not ideal, but like the season's going to be okay. It's salvageable. It's all right. Could be better. That's not great. It could be better, but we might be okay. It's not looking good. Not great. Season is over. Team's done. It's finished. Pack up. Get ready for 2025. Or they gone. People getting fired. People getting traded away. They gone. They finished. That's kind of what we're looking at. So I've got. Can we 7.
Have a 6th? The house is on fire. Burn it down. Move states.
Sell the team.
Restart.
All capitals, yeah.
Sell the team. Blow up the stadium. Change the name.
Done.
Move out. Just go.
Move out. Leave home. Tell your kids they're adopted. All that.
Sell the license. Pretend it never happened.
Get a new identity.
So, again, I've tried not to just go in on the.
I think Alec might have a for that one.
Yeah, I think I do know the team that's coming out for that, but we'll start somewhere else first, because I think I've got a bit of an interesting one at first. They got a record of 1 and 2, so obviously everything's not fantastic. But I'll go through my little mini rant, and then I'll come to you, gents, and we'll see how we're feeling about these teams. So the first team I want to talk about is the Las Vegas Raiders. They're in a bit of an interesting spot right now. It seems like it's going to be just another year where Devontae Adams is kind of sat there thinking he wants to be anywhere but Las Vegas. And to be fair, why on earth is he in Las Vegas? That's a question for another day. Gardner Minshew is an NFL legend, but realistically, Minshew, how far can he take this team? On to my biggest point of all, how much faith are we willing to put into Antonio Pierce? They won a huge game against the Baltimore Ravens, who no one picked them to win. If you say you did, you're lying. So don't get me wrong, that's a statement win. But then again, getting beaten by the Carolina Panthers, by the way. And all of a sudden, to be there talking about benching Minshew after he delivered that rather statement win against Baltimore. Is he too reactionary to be a head coach? Was he good enough to steady the ship last season, but not good enough to take this team all the way? Gentlemen, what are we thinking? Alec, how do you feel about the Raiders?
I'm like, our season's done, but let's look for next season. Let's get a new QB in. It's the coach is okay. We can work with it. He's fine. I just think he's an immature coach. He'll learn.
Okay, no, fair. I think you've been more pragmatic. I've been a bit savage there. I won't lie. I quite like Antonio Pierce for what it's worth, but for the sake of content, we need to be angry.
We need to be angry. We need to be angry at the Raiders. I think we need to be a little bit, because they are wasting one of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL by just having rubbish QBs.
Can I disagree with you, Gary?
Oh,
you disagree with the Panthers call. So,
yeah, that's true. Zero sympathy. He went for
I'm not saying I've got any sympathy for him, because he went there for the money and he's getting paid a bucket load, and he should have gone somewhere where he could have competed, but he went for the money. So he brought that all on his own silver and black back. But it is a shame to see it, because he's a great wide receiver, but it's his own damn fault. And he knew what he was going into, because when he signed with the Raiders, they were being QB'd by Jimmy Garoppolo. And as a wide receiver, you
inspiring pick.
Go and sign in for that. And then they went and they got Minshew, and they got Aiden O'Connell, who's possibly going to start, because Minshew Mania may have run its course already, and he'd have to park up the RV and ship out soon. But I don't know. I think the Raiders are in that middle of the road. It's not done yet. Nobody really expects them to do anything in that division anyway. They'll be 5-7 or something like that. 5-8, whatever else. They'll bumble through. They'll get a decent draft pick. They're going to have to get a QB next season.
Mm-hmm.
What about if Anthony Pierce didn't actually want Minshew as his quarterback, but he was lumbered with him, and now this is a perfect opportunity to turn?
Ooh, yeah, because this is one of the points I found more interesting, I guess, because obviously Minshew led them to that pretty mental win over the Ravens, which again, I know I was there for the 49ers watch party, but I could not get my eyes off that Raiders-Ravens result. I was like, there's no way this is actually going to happen. So for then, just kind of fast forward a week, obviously losing to the Panthers isn't great, but in the fourth quarter, they put Aiden O'Connell in, and there's already this talk of like, maybe Minshew's not the guy. We don't know. And I'm just thinking, this guy literally just helped you beat the Ravens. Like, okay, yes, you've had a bad week. Sure. Understandable. But, I don't know. Is it just me?
Is it throwing the baby out with the bathwater? Is it?
Yeah.
A very, very antiquated UK saying. It's like major panic. It's one game. Really, it's, as you say, they're 1-2.
Immature coach.
Immature coach. It's his first proper full season. He was interim at the end of last season. He's got the locker room behind him. I don't think there's any worry about him losing the locker room or anything like that. He's just learning his way. I think you've got to give him time.
Okay.
And sell Devontae Adams.
So we're going along the lines of like the season's over in terms of they're probably not going to be pulling up trees or anything. They're just going to kind of be there. They're going to exist. It's going to be
if a 1 to 5, they're in that sort of 2 kind of position of it's not great, but it could be better. But it could be better, but nobody cares. Almost a 3, I suppose. That non-applicable. Nobody cares.
Now, a team whose season could definitely be better, I would say, would be the Cincinnati Bengals. Wow. Don't ever let me do that again. That was disgusting.
That was bad. That was
bad. 0-3 for a team that was very heavily tipped to win the Super Bowl? ? Doesn't this have crisis written all over it? I don't know why I'm asking questions if I'm the only person talking. Considering this season was led up to as the last one of keeping the band together, with T. Higgins being on the franchise tag just to make finances work with Joe Burrow's huge contract and Jamar Chase is coming up. If they don't recover this season, then how bad are things really going to be for the Bengals? The Bengals' record in regard to firing and hiring coaches would suggest that Zach Taylor isn't going anywhere, but surely he can't get away with wasting a Super Bowl-ready team like this. Now, just for the record, for anyone listening, with an 0-3 start, this is statistically based on the history of divisions, there is only a 2.5% chance of making the playoffs. That is not even That's not even going deep. That is just
Winning
making them in the first place.
Just getting there.
And only a 1.2% chance of winning the division. Now, obviously, the AFC North is probably the toughest division in the entirety of football, I think people would say. Somehow the Steelers are on top. That's a conversation for another day. But so obviously they're already at 0-3. The division winners or leaders already at 3-0. I'm not suggesting they're going to win the division, but I think the Bengals could be in some serious trouble here if things don't turn around. Gary, how do you feel about it down?
Totally think there's a car crash going on in Cincinnati right now. There must be panic stations happening. As you say, Burrow is the golden boy, literally with his new hairstyle, of that franchise. But they can't be 0-3. That statistics, as you say, I saw that as well. 2.5% of chance of getting to the playoffs for a team that was touted as, one of the favorites, one of the ones that would battle the Chiefs. I think I had them as division winners, in fact. Yeah. Can't remember. It was either between them and the Ravens, but everyone thought it was between those two.
I had them as the 1 seed. Jesus Christ.
They're stinking up the place right now. They just lost, and I don't want to say but they just lost to the Commanders, who have been pretty poor, and then won a game without scoring a TD. And then they allowed them to, as you say, almost put 40 points on them. What is going on in Cincinnati? There is problems. There are real problems, and it's one. I think it's a young coach. Maybe he's too young. Maybe he's not got enough, locker room, whatever it is. And some of these big name stars are kind of railroading him and rolling over him, whatever he says. But there are problems in Cincy, and they are done. They are done. I do not see them making the playoffs.
Ooh. Big. Alec.
That is. I am in the position where I am driving everyone to see a therapist. I'm four. I'm like,
oh dear.
I'm sitting the children down and going, like, if you have one more argument, we're turning this car around and we're not going on holiday.
Oh, damn.
He's the coach driver at the front. If you don't behave on that back seat, that's it. We're all going home.
Yeah. I think it's massive issues. And I think I wouldn't want to be a team going to play Andy Dalton, who has got something going on for some strange reason with the Panthers, with a Bengals team that is downhearted.
Who's got a point to prove, shall we say?
Yep.
Coming off of a massive win, a massive uplift for the whole franchise. Going into a Cincinnati franchise that looks to be... Is Jamar Chase, he's not even signed yet, has he?
Nope. He said he won't sign.
He's not going to sign this season.
Yeah.
So he's going to be in the same situation as we mentioned with CD Lamb. He's not practiced, not signed, therefore going to be rusty, he's going to be off on the timings and everything else. It's bad times in Cincy. Bad times.
Yep. So I am, I think it's number 4. I'm seeing a therapist, and
it's firmly not good. Yeah, I just can't believe it. I feel like I don't even feel like they've necessarily been playing that badly. I mean, obviously their first game was a honker, but also just the quality of that team, they shouldn't be 0-3. I feel like it's kind of as simple as that, really. Like they just shouldn't be. I feel like that's... What more do you need to say on that? They should not be 0-3 with that roster.
Nope.
All right.
They're the archetype we say over here in the football parlance over the time. They're too good a team to be relegated, but it's all bandied around about some football teams in there.
Yeah, there's always that one team that just proves you're
too good to be in that position. They'll get out of it. I don't know with Cincinnati. I think they might unravel a bit.
Okie dokie. So, moving on to the next one, which I'm sure is someone grab the hot sauce because I think it's about to get toasty in here. We need to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Oh, baby. Right, listen, people. The Deshaun Watson situation isn't going anywhere, but I think we need to look at it quite frankly. Whilst he is under center, the team will not only be hated, but also one of the most boring and potentially worst defensive organizations in the entire NFL. Given his contract situation, which again is probably the worst given contract in history, which also hamstrings them going forward, it's very unlikely they'll release him or that coach Kevin Stefanski will be able to drop him. Although I cannot help but feel like this would improve the organization in totality. Bring on Jameis Winston. With the season being a 1-2 start and the team looking absolutely shambolic and their Super Bowl caliber defense from last season absolutely nowhere to be seen, how much of a crisis are the Browns in? Now, not to pile in on the Browns, but I feel like Alec's been waiting for this all evening. Alec, what happened?
Go!
I would literally move the Browns out of town. And I generally feel sorry
Again?
for the Browns fans.
Yeah,
I generally feel like being a Browns fan is the equivalent to just walking on Lego with bare feet every Sunday. They are literally their whole franchise is not around about, oh, we're a rebuilding year, because it's not even a rebuilding year. It's like, we suck. We know we suck, and we're just going to carry on being rubbish. At least the Panther fans don't turn up, yet the Cleveland fans still turn up. Like, fair play to them.
Thousands, droves of them turn up every Sunday just to get heartbroken every Sunday. The fact that you're saying there, Matty, bring on Jameis Winston. My Lord.
That's not
Jameis Winston, who's renowned for throwing more interceptions than TDs.
But then also the fact that neither of you are like, absolutely not, I feel like proves my point. Yeah.
And also, I mean, there might be an out coming for the Browns, because I do believe there are more legal shenanigans and legal rumors rumbling around about their QB and his behavior off the field.
They knew about this QB. They literally knew.
There's new stuff now. Even while he's been there,
more.
there's new stuff.
Yeah,
so that might give the Browns an out from their absolutely horrendous $300 million guaranteed contract with a guy who's not played a decent game of football in 4 years. They might be able to somehow salvage their franchise. But I agree with you, Alec. And I hate it for the fans of Cleveland, because they've already seen their team leave and turn into, a Super Bowl winning team in Baltimore. But they do not deserve what they are seeing now. That team should be shredded, burnt, ripped from the annals of history, and be banished to the coldest, darkest. Wait, that's Minnesota. They should go somewhere else. They don't deserve it. They deserve a team in Cleveland. They really do, but not that one. Just not that one.
They don't even lose with dignity. That's they don't lose with dignity. They question their faith in football. How on earth they still have fans, I do not know. Like the Deshaun Watson is like walking past a Ferrari that's banged up that says a massive sign saying for sale. And you're like, I wonder why no one's brought it. Hey, I'll buy it. No one's brought it because no one wanted Deshaun Watson because he was damaged.
Mm-hmm. Looks good on the outside, but underneath it's all torn to pieces, and it's literally a shell of what it used to be.
Stop walking on Lego every Sunday, Browns fans, and get a new team.
Go and watch some other sport on a Sunday. Hit them in their pocket. Don't turn up. Don't buy the merch. Don't go there every Sunday. Go and watch the MLS team.
I feel like if you're a Browns fan, you're just signing up for a lifelong contract of heartbreak and disappointment.
Yeah, because
the territory, right?
Again, when I was like coming into the NFL, it was probably like my second season. This whole Deshaun Watson thing kicked off, so I didn't really know a lot about him in his like Houston time, etc., etc. So I didn't really realize quite how tragically, by the sounds of it, the Browns have had it. But it sounds like this is just like the latest in just generally quite a sad little like running of a football team, and I do feel sorry for the fans. It does sound like they have it pretty rough, but yeah, this feels bad. Like just
there's that saying that's bandied around: "Who's got it better than us?" I think the Cleveland Browns fans have an opposite saying.
Yeah.
Who's got it as bad as us?
Who's got it worse than us? No one.
The bit that winds me up with the Browns as well. So don't forget they had a coaching staff of Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniels, Richard Hightower,
Sean McVay there as well.
Yeah, Sean McVay was there. Brian Flores was there as well.
Good God.
Aaron Glenn was there.
Is Matt LaFleur there?
Matt LaFleur, he might have been there as an assistant. He wasn't
an
named.
assistant or an analyst. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, Mike Pettin was the head coach at the time. Get it? Probably wasn't the best head coach, but there was enough coach in there.
It's just a. Oh.
It's just, yeah.
It's almost, yeah, I get you. You're like, you want to blow up at them and be like, come on, what are you doing? But it's like, why? We've tried it for 4 years.
I feel for any Browns fan, any UK Browns fan.
If there is any UK Browns fan, no, actually, we know there are because they've been on the show. We do feel for you because they are almost that comical butt of all jokes franchise for everybody else. But for their fans, it must be every Sunday, just like, oh.
But look at last season. You had the hope ending the season. You're like, great, we can carry on. Great defense.
Joe Flacco came in.
Joe Flacco. But then they binned Joe Flacco out the building, which I thought was the worst decision they could have ever done.
As quick as they possibly could. Yeah.
Which
they won a playoff game with Joe Flacco. Like, keep him.
Yeah, I guess just to play devil's advocate, for the amount of money they're paying Deshaun Watson, they couldn't have him being bad.
They couldn't have any other player on the payroll.
Joe Flacco back, right?
I know Flacco just wanted to play football.
Yeah.
He would have taken a vet minimum, surely.
But then, like, there we go. So my point is even if we still had Joe Flacco at the age of, 79, under center for this Cleveland Browns team, you cannot tell me their record would not be better. Even if their record was not better, you couldn't tell me this team wouldn't be playing better and performing better.
They would have beat the Giants.
They would have beat the Giants.
You'd have to assume so.
They had how many chances with the ball, Alec, to beat the Giants?
Not that I was counting. They had 3 opportunities.
Absolutely not counting. No, but they just look so
ineffectual.
He just looks like he's never been on a football field before at times. So it just looks like, and again, like I said, I wasn't there to witness rookie Deshaun Watson, but I have heard how much he tore it up when he was at Texas, and people were like this is the guy. And just sometimes watching again, bits of highlights and stuff. I don't think I've ever potentially watched a full Browns game, but just watching this guy, and he just sometimes looks at he looks about as home on that field as I would be if they just threw me in for a quarter. And I can't even throw that little ball back there. I don't know what I'm doing. I look stupid. Yeah. So does he.
The game is too fast for him right now. The game is way too fast for him. He's seeing ghosts. He's not quick enough. He's really lost so much speed. So I saw a highlight when he I say a highlight. I saw a play where he was got scrambled out from the pocket, and vintage, shall we say, Deshaun Watson at Houston. He would have taken off and would have got 10, 15 yards easy with his legs there, and would have been ripping it left. He just he was moving in treacle. It was just where's his pace gone? What is going on? And don't know. It's painful. It is painful for
like walking on Lego.
Yes, it was
barefoot.
Like he was running barefoot on Lego with all the points sticking up.
Yeah, so just to preface, Browns fans, we are saying this from a place of love and because we genuinely do feel sorry, but also the deserves bullying.
It's not the Browns fans' fault though.
No,
I want to come back. I do, because when I had this rant about the Browns, I was like, it's not their fault. We've been there through the Chip Kelly years and Jim Tom Sula. I've seen that, but our organization made a decision to change it. And we've been there with the Trey Lance thing as well. And our organization made a decision to go, we made a mistake. Let's move on.
Yeah. Hold our hands up. Yeah, we're bad. We are bad. Let's get out of this. Let's change it. The Browns organization just doubles down.
I don't know why they went back to him this season.
Probably
contractual. He's guaranteed money, and if he's fit, he has to play.
There's got to be something in the contract. There has to be, because there's no way that you sit back and look at what he's produced and be like,
"Yep,
that's the
you're
guy."
Our guy. Mhm.
That's the guy. Okay, I'm aware that time is getting on. But I think we can
Sorry, I
safely settle
apologise.
on Cleveland at Hegon. That seems like that's where
No,
that's
no,
going.
no. He's not. He gone. We are changing
Oh,
identity. We are
setting
moving
fire,
states.
burning it
Set
down.
fire, burn it down, tear
Got it.
it to pieces, blow it up.
But I'm
pretend it
taking the
never
fans with me
existed.
because the fan base is good.
Yes,
We'll take
the fans will
try-
probably travel, but where would they travel to? Cincinnati.
We'll try
Probably.
Cleveland Browns 3.0 at some point in the future. But right now we just need to sack them off entirely is what's happening. Okay, fine. I do have a couple more, but there's one that I really want to get to, so we'll do that just because then I think we're going to run out of time. But we're switching over to the NFC because I've only slagged off AFC teams so far, and boy, this one might take a second. The Dallas Cowboys. Oh baby, let's get into it. One word: tragic. That's my one word for the Dallas Cowboys. Tragic with a capital T, RAGIC. The Cowboys' season so far has been pathetic. A 1-2 record that isn't the worst in the NFL, but let's do some examination here. They beat up on the Cleveland Browns, who are a floating tire fire, as we said. They came up against the Saints, who are off to a hot start, and they got destroyed, only to be embarrassed by the Ravens a week later, where the scoreline definitely flatters them due to some end-of-game madness. They paid their quarterback a huge contract and their star receiver, only to get less explosive on offense? ? Their defense is in absolute shambles, and their run game is about as existent as my gym membership. Jerry Jones stated... I've been waiting for that line the whole show. There we go. Come on now. I've lost it. Jerry Jones stated how the team was all in before the season kicked off. And he doubled down on the statement, only to spend a mere $18 million in free agency, when the next lowest spend was $60 million. That was the next lowest. $40 million higher. So, in recap, the organization, who is all in on the season, has lost to every functional organization they have actually come up against, has, in NFL terms, purchased a Freddo from the corner shop in terms of spend in free agency, is owned by a never-ending soundboard, and are staring down the barrel of a Giants matchup, which could end their season if it goes wrong, but also looks weirdly competitive given how the Giants looked at the start of the season. How bad is it looking from your angle, gents? Oh, God, needed to get that one off my chest. Gary, go on.
Beautiful
How do
line.
you feel about...
Beautiful line.
How
by
about
the way,
them
Matthew.
Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? Them Cowboys. To be honest, I said at the beginning of the season when we did a preview show, Cowboys are a shell looking. They look shiny, all blue and shiny with their silver helmets, whatever else. They're a shell. They are close to crumbling, a house of cards that is going to go wrong. All it takes is something to not quite, go right for them. And we're seeing that, as you say, they beat up on the Browns, but the Browns are as you say, floating tire fire, car crash to rip it down. Battered by the Saints and battered by the Ravens, as you most for 2.5 quarters until they switched off. I can't actually get too upset about how tragic it is for the Dallas Cowboys because it's pleasing to my 49ers heart to see the Cowboys in such a mess. It's been a long time coming. I love it. I love watching this team just implode on itself, and it's just such a Cowboy thing. That's what it is. It's just the Cowboys being the Cowboys, but 3.5 rather than the first week of the playoffs. It's just great. It's just putting it to bed early and being done. And I think you're right. This Giants game is a massive banana skin for them. If they lose that game, it's an inter-conference game. Questions will be asked of how much crisis are the Cowboys in.
Malik Neighbors is going to have 120 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He is the man in New York.
I'm. That's why I put this. Like, this game is looking like sneaky competitive. Like at the start of the season, I was never like that high on the Cowboys, but you would just say that the Cowboys beat the Giants given how everything is going. But like now, I don't know. I could see this being like a bit of an implosion from Dallas. Like we said at the beginning of the show, like CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott are already arguing. Like, yeah, okay, if you're melting down in a postseason game, then fair. Maybe have a little, have it out on the field, but like not already. Like this just feels like it's I can smell it. Something's going to go wrong. It's probably going to be my prediction. Cowboys 40, Giants nothing. Yeah.
I'm sacking everyone.
They're going.
Yep,
Like,
Alex
this
flying
is-
in the Bill Belichick helicopter. He's still hoping for the Bill Belichick helicopter ride.
Big Bill is coming in.
Big Bill to the rescue.
This is the Cowboys again. Just do something other than paying. Why are you paying Dak? That's the one I get paying CD Lamb, but why are you paying Dak?
Again, because I'm sure we've been around this roller coaster with Dak a few years back when he wasn't getting paid. He was holding out. He got paid. Oh no, he broke his leg and got paid, right? Or was that the year where he got his nasty injury and then
the ankle. I also think there's a bigger issue with the Cowboys, as in it's a little bit with the 49ers as well. This is an aging team. Everyone thinks it's young, but when you look at it, everyone's coming into their second year of their contracts. It's an aging team.
But then that's the worst thing. Is like the moves they did make in free agency. They just made a fairly old team older. Like
they brought back Zeke as their running back.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the oldest backfield in history, I think. They're sitting there getting their cocoa in between reps.
You wait till the winter games. Doing? That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be hard.
Is it also really nasty to say is the Cowboys? I've watched a few Cowboys games and it doesn't excite me. Like Dak doesn't excite me. CD Lamb doesn't excite me. Micah Parsons, take over a game.
Yeah, because I think that's again another one of the interesting things. Like Parsons is one of those people that could definitely have thrown his toys out the pram and been like, I need a contract this season, but he didn't. So you've got someone with that amount of talent willing to pay on still a very, very, very lucrative rookie deal. You cannot tell me that there's money that couldn't have been invested, right? Like, was it Jerry Jones asked about like Derrick Henry? Because like Derrick Henry wanted that call from the Cowboys and it never came. And Jerry Jones was just like, yeah, we can't afford it, mate. And I'm just like, you cannot tell me
money. You couldn't move some money around somewhere. Mm-hmm.
Like you can't tell me that. Like, especially again, coming from a 49ers point of view with how stacked the roster is, you cannot tell me there was absolutely no way.
But I think there probably wasn't because aren't they paying twice this year? Because they're still paying him from his original contract that they absolutely sold down the river themselves on that running back. When he broke the running back market and got a guaranteed deal, then left. So I think they're still paying him that plus him this year's wages. Yikes. So no, there probably was no money for Derrick Henry.
Then I take it back. Congratulations.
Cowboys doing Cowboys things.
Them Cowboys, baby.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, burn. Sack everyone.
That is purely.
Can't burn both of them down.
That came down yet?
That's a bit harsh. Because I think Dak's a half decent quarterback, but I wouldn't have paid him yet. Give me a season and then we'll pay you.
But I just also think like it's a point of view that I hadn't really considered is like Mike McCarthy is in the last year of his contract, right? He's had to hire new but he's had to hire new coordinators. Who's in charge of hiring the coordinators? It's going to be the head coach. If the head coach does not know he's going to be there next year, potentially, in theory, I'm sure he hasn't just sabotaged himself. But what is his motivation to make the best hire for a job that he doesn't even know is going to be his next year? Like the whole situation.
I really don't like their defensive hire as well, Mike Zimmer. I'm just not a fan of that
I don't
hire.
hate it, but it's not looking good. Like they look bad. I think when week one was kicking off and they were beating up on the Browns and I thought, oh god, like I've predicted this team to be like really bad and have like a downfall year and now I look stupid. And I didn't remember in the moment that was the Browns and that was what should have been expected to happen. So now I'm like, oh, here it comes.
Here's one for you. The Bills are what we thought the Cowboys would be. Oh, sorry, the Cowboys are what we thought the Bills would be.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between coaches and quarterbacks.
Yep.
I was gonna say I feel like quarterback plays such a big part into that. Not that, like you said, I don't think Dak is like a bad quarterback by all stretch of the imagination. But I remember when we did our controversial statement section, I remember specifically saying that this was going to be a prove it year for Josh Allen because he's going to have no like elite receivers. He needs to be the guy that puts that team on his back and makes the team around him. And he's proving he can do it. And I feel like Dak is in kind of a similar situation because maybe other than CeeDee Lamb, you're like, who is catching these passes? But that feels like how it plays out. Like if CeeDee Lamb doesn't make a play, it just seems like they don't really know what to do.
They don't have anything else. Yeah.
Defense just kind of stalls out. They have like 0 run game, which we're seeing that this year is quite important. Like it's not good.
No. Sack all the coaches.
Sack all the coaches.
I'm not even going to therapy. I'm driving past therapy and chucking him off a bridge.
Straight to the job centre.
Oh damn, he gone.
I wouldn't
all the coaches go on. Bring in Big Bill.
Walk, Gary.
Bring in Big Bill. Yeah, baby.
Big Bill and all the coaching staff from the Patriots. Bring it in. Let's go.
In that case, then I will
fire up the choppers.
Yeah, let me turn off the crisisometer. But I'm sure as obviously as the season prevails and as more crises unfold, I'm sure we can switch that back on and that can come back up. I'm sure.
I apologize to Browns as well. I apologize to the Browns fans, but I'm just that organization is just.
I think the organization deserves to apologize to the Browns fans. We love the Browns fans, but that organization has done you dirty.
Yeah, again, this is purely from a
Browns fan and staying up in the UK until 1 a.m. in the morning to watch because there'll be fans out there that know they're not going to win, but still stay up until 1, 3.
Let's be honest, they don't get many primetime games, so.
Ooh.
But it's true though, and I guess that's one of the problems with the NFL being such a finite product, right? Is if your team doesn't make it to the postseason, if your viewership for the year is basically done by what, like January? Like you're just that's it. Your team is done.
Especially Jaguars, it's done by what?
Done by
London
October.
Games, November to October.
Mid-October. After the London games, usually you just switch off if you're there.
So I guess that's the crux of it, right? Especially being a UK fan, is like, that game's probably going to ruin your mood. But like, if I don't stay up and watch it, this is like one of my only opportunities this year. I'll have to, I guess. I will have to.
One and only chance to do the whole overnight thing. Yeah.
I have decided though. I do just pay Dizan 140 quid for heartbreak and tears at Sunday evenings.
That's all being a sports fan is, isn't it? You choose your team you like, and then you spend the rest of your life getting upset over it. That's how that works. It's
how it works. That's why we love sports so much.
That's why we're here.
Yay!
Gents, probably think about wrapping it up. Gary, I believe you have some promotion to do, my boy.
I did mention it at the beginning, but we are going to be doing, as you mentioned, the box in the corner, the lovely shelving in the corner there. A new show on this channel. We are going to reach out to the UK fan bases. We're going to try and talk to all your people, and we're going to invite you on for a bit of a talk show. It's going to be called In Residency with me, and it's going to be because I'm wearing residency hats. Obviously, that's the nice plug for residency. And hey, who knows if I get a spare hat out of it? Wouldn't like to possibly say, but I have reached out to Zach, and we'll probably get Zach on for a recorded interview about how they've managed to start this tiny little hat business out in Vegas and have got the buy-in from so many teams. So yeah, if you are out there and you are a leader of one of the UK fan bases, we will be in contact. Never put you on for some chat about football.
And stylish hats as well.
And stylish hats.
They are good-looking hats. Kyle Shanahan has worn one, and
goddamn wears them. CMC wears them. Brandon Ayuk has a whole range. Tebow wears them.
I saw Nick Bosa in one the other day. Like,
Nick Bosa's got them. Yep.
Just for the record, there's some pretty cool people wearing these hats. So
and
Gary wears them.
Hey. Gary wears way too many of them.
Yeah, I was going to say
Gary
this
pays
is,
for
this
the
is surprising.
Bosas.
I didn't realize Gary was into residency hats. This is a new development.
This is a new development for you. I bet you've never noticed.
Merch and residency hats. Who is Gary? I'm meeting an entirely new man this week.
Who is this guy? Never saw this before in my life.
No way.
Sunday, boys. What time are we doing Sunday? Let's give that a wrap up as well, because obviously we want to be back Sunday for the Sunday lunch, brunch, roast, whatever we decided to call that.
So was it 5
o'clock, was it? 5 o'clock Sunday, just before the game?
Yep.
5 o'clock kickoff Sunday. Join us on Sunday for the Sunday roast lunch. We decided yet? We still haven't decided. But we'll be back on Sunday.
The Sunday roast lunch.
Sunday
Buffet.
roast lunch.
Sunday roast lunch buffet, wasn't it?
If
Yeah, it was
anyone needs a snippet of how professional this podcast network is, the last 30 seconds has been it, by the way.
Sums it up perfectly.
Brilliant.
And don't forget, to tune in for Gary's Game of the Week. And it's time for Matty's Mayhem Matchup. Make sure you get them in, boys.
Make sure you do your homework. And Alec, when are we getting our QB quiz?
We'll do that next week. It's very good. It's very professional.
Who's it now? Oh God.
It's all.
Oh, he's done his homework. Look out, we're in trouble for next week there, Matty. Right, boys.
It's
an hour and 10 minutes of flame blast.
It's going to be a higher or lower. So I'm
Fruity bonus.
Being out the jacket and
good game. Ooh.
Now I'm just even more excited for this.
Can't wait now. That's it. I cannot wait for this now. Right, boys. It's been a blast. Lovely to speak to you. Go and enjoy the Thursday. Oh, we haven't even talked about Thursday night football. Good Lord.
We did. Malik Neighbours, 120 yards, 2 touchdowns.
There you go.
Giants win.
Runs all over the Giants.
21-17.
Oh, he's gone. Giants win. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm going the same. What have we got? I think
Get off the fence and give us a bloody prediction already.
Okay, Giants 21, Cowboys 10.
Ooh, wowza. Wowza, you feel comfortable about that? I agree with you. Neighbours and Dimes are going to suddenly light this up. I think 2 touchdowns for Neighbours. Singletary probably runs one in. It's a 24-17 win for the Giants. And the Cowboys season goes from burn it all down to, oh my God, it's a car crash.
Bold prediction, the Cowboys don't score more than 20 points. Even if they win, they won't score more than 20 points.
Ooh. Yeah.
McCarthy, the first coach to be fired.
Oh, hell yeah. I said he would be. He would be doing the 49ers. He won't be at the 49ers Cowboys game. That'll be a new head coach.
Clip it. Send it. That's our drop the mic. We're out. Bye, boys.
See you later.